You ever write something before, whether it's a paper for school or a script for a YouTube video? I'd hope so, because that means you're a fully literate human being. Probably. And if that doesn't describe you, please don't leave me a comment. We've all seen your kind before. But from my experience, before you actually get in the zone, you generally manage to stitch together an awkward, clumsy intro, right? Well, that pretty much sums up Dishonored 2, except Arcane Studios didn't fucking go back like you're supposed to and clean up the goddamn beginning of their game, or paper, or video, or whatever. Wait, why am I making this painfully forced analogy again? Oh, that's right, the opening sucks. You start off with a tutorial through the eyes of Emily Caldwin. Her father, Corvo Tano, is doing his fatherly duty and teaching her how to choke, steal, parkour, shoot, and kill. You know, the positive role model kind of stuff. In all seriousness, it's pretty standard for a tutorial, and God knows how difficult it is to actually make one of those that doesn't suck. But this one feels incredibly forced and out of place. We're then treated to a quick summary of Dishonored 1 about how Emily's mom was killed right before her eyes and she became Batman. Wait, that's not right. That's right, she got kidnapped and waited for her dad to rescue her.
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
And that's right, Emily's a princess. You rescue a princess in a video game. But I'm talking about Dishonored 2. And this whole slideshow of exposition doesn't really feel all that necessary to begin with. It probably does more harm than good in the grand scheme of things, but we'll get to that a little later. So without further ado, let's see how not to do a video game cutscene. We return to Emily, who is staring at the sun to presumably burn her eyes out of their sockets.
Watch your step, Majesty.
I'm not looking forward to all the ceremony today.
Oh, thanks, Emily. I like the positivity.
Your signet ring, there. Your
Why
ring.
do you have my
Thank you,
signet ring?
Lexi.
That
Open the doors.
doesn't make any sense why you would even have it. And by the way, that mystery's never solved.
Emily,
You look tired, Father.
every year I think the anniversary of Jessamine's death will be easier, but it never is.
I wish Mother was still the Empress.
Oh my god.
I don't think I'm very good at this.
Quit the
We're still
whining, Emily.
learning. Don't worry about the rabble-rousers, and we'll catch the crown killer eventually.
Exposition. 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 Why would you even bring that up? He's your dad.
No.
Why would you
someone's
accuse
trying
him
to
of
make off with
assassinations?
by targeting your enemies.
I wish I could just run away from all this.
Sometimes you do. You think I don't know about your nights out on the rooftops? Courage. The ceremony will be over soon.
Royal Protector and Father. We should have passed a law against that
Dialogue that
combination
flows like
30 years
broken
ago.
bits of glass. My favorite.
Your Majesty, before we begin the day's observances, we have an unexpected visitor, the Duke of Serkonos.
Ramsey says the Duke...
Hold on a
is
second.
bringing
If he's
special
unexpected,
gifts.
why does Corvo know about him?
Luca Abel, Duke of Serkonos!
What is this, Ramsey? I didn't...
What are they doing? Raising the roof?
Your Imperial Majesty.
Okay, this guy's boring. We're gonna fast forward through this a little bit.
We thank you, Your Grace.
Save your thanks. For now, I give you the greatest gift of all. Family. I present the lost sister of Jessamine Caldwin.
Ooh,
your
a plot
rightful
twist.
empress.
In the beginning of the game, those are the best kinds of plot twists because
My mother had a
they
sister.
catch no one off guard.
Dearest niece, hello.
It's not true!
My father was Emperor Yuhorn Jacob Caldwin, and Jessamine was my younger sister.
Okay,
At the time
spitting
of her
facts.
death, I wasn't
I
ready
can
to
respect
make
that.
myself known to you, and I was forced to leave Dunwall. But
Please
now
notice
I'm
that
If
this
you really
cutscene is
are
full
my
of both
sister,
exposition
you're welcome to
and
stay as long
backstory.
as you
It
like.
is really just a masterful of how to write
Memories.
if you're really
I
shitty at
dream
writing.
of your crown. My father's promise, whispered in secret so many years ago, is now fulfilled.
Watch your tongue. Emily Caldwin is the daughter of Empress Jessamine Caldwin.
All hail the Empress Delilah. First of her name. Arrest Emily Caldwin and her father for the
If you're gonna have a coup, why don't we just do it right away? Why go through all that trouble and backstory? This is like the third time I've seen this cutscene, so if you missed it, Corvo stabbed her in the chest, but you couldn't see it because of the camera. And here's the worst part of the cutscene, where you actually pick your character now instead of in the beginning of the game because of bad design. I don't get why they did it here. It doesn't make any sense, really.
I will cast you in cold marble.
Wait, hold on a second. What flew him back? He just got flung back from nothing. There wasn't even, like, a supernatural effect. That's so lazy.
Corvo Atano, how handsome you are for a man of your age.
Aw, thanks for the compliment.
Hidden the mark of the outsider.
About 15 years.
It's a wonderful story.
I'll lock him in the Empress's chambers, and then I'll bring him to Coldridge Prison until his trial.
Why? Why put that off?
It all sent me to the City Watch, one step above begging. I think I had to
No
take
one fucking cares. And notice how you're going in and out of consciousness. This would be the best time to actually do that tutorial rather than in the very beginning of the game.
Corvo, what happened?
I'll be all kept.
Oh no! Not Captain Mayhew. She was my favorite character. From all the screen time she had, I related so much to her.
There's a legend in the City Watch, the Empress's last resort, the safe
More
room
exposition.
inside your daughter's chambers.
By the way,
It's holding enough gold
he
to
may
buy an
lock you in this room, but he leaves the windows that he is facing right now open. Why would you do that? This guy, Corvo, has already proven himself to stop conspiracies, and you don't even bother to double check that the windows are locked.
What happened?
So
Alexei.
now that you've seen the cutscene with my terrible commentary, let's go into why it's so bad. Unless you're back from another playthrough, you're almost obligated to pick Emily at this point. You did the tutorial as her, she gives you her version of Dishonored 1 with a short preview of her current situation, and you're already in this cutscene as her. To say it's jarring to switch characters halfway is an understatement. It's also really fucking lazy. How much more work would it have been to switch the perspectives and choose your character beforehand? Probably not too much, but then again, I'm also not a game developer. This also applies to the prelude slideshow in the beginning, because it's more telling than showing. And actually knowing that Corvo saved Emily ahead of time also makes it more enticing to play as Emily because it adds narrative cohesion to your playthrough. Knowing how she was rescued as a kid and now that she'll be doing the saving for her savior makes a nice cycle that's satisfying to strive for. Picking Corvo means you'll be doing the same fucking thing again, and all that training and tutorial was meaningless plot-wise. Next, there's the shit pacing. There are times when it's okay to drop players straight into conflict, but this ain't one of them. You don't just kick things off with a fucking coup d'etat. You're supposed to build up to that shit, so the power you've lost has meaning and feels like a result of the ruler's negligence. Give us a day in the life of the Empress and show why the decisions are so difficult and why we as players should give a fuck about taking back the throne. Or at the very least, it can allow us to sympathize with her bored attitude toward governing in this awful, awful cutscene. Because all this heavy lies the crown whining that Emily keeps on bringing up throughout the scene is really annoying. If Delilah didn't cast whoever you didn't pick into stone and try to kill the player, Emily saying something like, "Okay, you can have the throne," wouldn't be that unbelievable. But then again, the entire conflict's foundation is set on the villains not knowing what the hell to do with their captives. Keep in mind, they probably put years of preparation into this, and they couldn't fucking kill the player, or at the very least, lock them in a broom closet. Then, just unstone the other and execute them. Problem solved. The opening cutscene is just trying to do too much, way too fast, and it shows. It has no setup and expects you to care about what's happening without giving a good reason. This is why it's a great example of what not to do with a plot based on a conspiracy. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I will be making a full review for Dishonored 2 next week. I just wanted to try something a little easier to edit, and it's already turned out to be a really long video, so fuck me. I guess it backfired. Oh well, later.